Yeah. What's it like in Austin? Because I've never been to Texas, but it seems to be the podcasting hub of the world with with Joe. And I can predict. I don't know if anyone's ever said this on a podcast, but I can predict you'll be on that show like in 1 to 3, 4 years. I can see it happening, man. I mean, your neighbors with the guy, and you're clearly making waves in the scene. But what's it like living there? Because everyone that's interesting seems to be moving there right now.
Yeah, it's a hub of interesting, creative, incredible people, which I feel blessed to be able to spend some time with. And, I read this book, Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be by Stephen Pressfield. And for me, was just like, oh my God, if a book ever hit me, it hit me. And I think I read it like right after moving to Austin. And so it was great confirmation bias. But it was it's an incredible look at like, okay, you want to be a writer, put your ass behind a keyboard and actually write. You want to be a podcaster, actually record podcasts. But then the further part of that is like, put yourself in the macro environment that people love podcasting. And so that Austin, Texas right now is the place where podcasting seems to be sprouting up. Of course, Rogan is a huge reason why, Tim Ferriss another. But yeah, I think it's a special place. It's a special time. I see so much energy and wisdom moving here. I've never experienced anything like it. Everyone who moves here says the same thing, like, oh my God, the people here are incredible. And if I want to be an incredible person, I got to put myself in the room with incredible people. So that's what Austin is for me right now.
I do have some friends over there. I interviewed somebody on my podcast recently called Peter Wang, who is a very, very smart guy living in Austin. Maybe you should see if you can connect with him. But he is the founder of a company which is like the world's largest data visualization platform. He's one of the leaders with a technology called Python, which is used in the software engineering world and in my space quite a lot. And super fascinating guy who did a really interesting interview on Lex's podcast on Lex Friedman, and was grateful enough to I was grateful enough for him to spend time on mine to talk to me about some of these ideas. But he said that Austin seems to be like where it's all happening from like the renaissance of the world right now. Like, we have these times in history, whether it's Silicon Valley and in like the 2000s, or London, right? Back in the olden days when we ruled the world. It almost seems like Austin is becoming that cultural epicenter of the world.
I feel that. And I don't know if it's confirmation bias, but it's cool to hear you reflect that as well. And I mean, I've never been somewhere where I will randomly run into someone and then I'll spend an hour talking to them, like a deep conversation, and then it'll happen again. And it'll be another deep conversation with someone. Just what is happening? Is this a function of my own podcast getting more, being seen more? Is this a function of Austin? Like, I'm trying to parse through this and understand it, but I find that I'm so blessed to live here. I'm so blessed to spend time here. And everyone knows that this is like a really special place and time right now.